Tim Alberta documents what happened in Michigan in a sweeping new Politico piece, and he's with us now, along with author and award-winning political analyst Jeff Greenfield, who questions whether these few defenders at the gate are evidence of the system working or if it's coming far too close to crumbling. Jeff's new piece for Politico is titled, "Did American Democracy Really Hold?" Maybe not. Also with us for the discussion, former aide to the George W. Bush White House and State Departments, Elise Jordan. Elise, you didn't write the article, but I just want to go to you. Like me, former Republican, we actually have to watch local Republican officials being trashed by the President of the United States and receiving death threats for simply upholding the law and, by extension, upholding the Constitution of the United States of America. Just when you think our former party couldn't go any lower, it does.
Well, and Joe, you just wonder, when is it going to end? Is it ever going to end? If Donald Trump has lost the election and these Republican officials are still so concerned about his feelings that they're going through all of this theater when everyone with a few brain cells knows that Joe Biden indeed won the election and there's no way that it's going to be overturned. And so the example in Georgia, what has been particularly galling, just because you've got a Republican Secretary of State who has said, I want to do the right thing. And that Atlantic Journal Constitution interview with Brad Raffensperger and his wife talking about all of the death threats, it just is really outrageous.
By the way, a lifelong Republican. This is what I love about it. A lifelong Republican, right? Who has been a Republican and supported Republican candidates and voted for Republicans. At the same time, Donald Trump was giving 9 checks, 9 contributions to Hillary Clinton, Charlie Rangel, Chuck Schumer. You go down the list, Anthony Weiner. I mean, and so now suddenly Donald Trump's a real Republican and these lifelong Republicans who are just doing their job aren't. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous in Georgia. It's ridiculous what's going on in Michigan. And Tim, you wrote about that. Tell us what you learned.
Well, Joe, it's interesting because Michigan was the widest margin of victory for Joe Biden of any of these battleground states. That, you know, the 7 or 8 states that we spent the past year obsessing over. Michigan wasn't close. It was, you know, about a 3-point margin, 150,000 votes plus. And what's interesting when you talk to people on the ground here over the last 3 weeks, and, you know, for my story, I interviewed a couple of dozen insiders in the campaigns and you know, party officials on the ground. They all sort of felt that because it wasn't particularly close, it almost counterintuitively, ironically, fanned the flames, made it a more fertile ground for some of these conspiracies to take root, because the president and his allies, sort of, if they were able and willing to push conspiracy theories here and to go down the sort of rabbit holes of you know, votes being fraudulent and the outcome being rigged and forces at work in Detroit and elsewhere actively trying to cheat him out of a win here. If they were willing to do that in a state decided by 154,000 votes, well, then all bets are off in states like Georgia and Arizona and Wisconsin, states with much narrower margins. And so that's what happened. And you also have, of course, you know, Ronna Romney McDaniel, the RNC chair. This is her home state. She has a vested interest in making sure that the president knows that everything possible that can be done is being done in Michigan, because she's up for re-election in a couple of months and she wants to hold on to her job. And we know this, guys. We've seen this over the last couple of years. To keep your job in the modern Republican Party requires to demonstrate this unflinching loyalty to the president, even when it means denying reality, even when it means peddling, you know, flagrant falsehoods. And in this case, Ronna McDaniel, somebody who, you know, had a really good reputation in Michigan politics up until recently, was willing to throw all of that away just to make the president happy, just to show him that she was willing to fight for him and fight for this cause in a state that he lost by 154,000 votes.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.